In today's video, we're going to learn how to say I want, I don't want, and do you want in Kurdish Sorani. Let's get into the video. Let's start with the first thing. To say I want, we say emaret, emaret. But the infinitive verb for it is wisten, wisten. Firstly, let's separate saying I want with a noun and then I want with a verb. So if I want to say I want a book, I would have to say, for a book, I would say kitebek, kitebek, and then we would add the suffix, which we said it's the pronoun here. So kitebekim evet, kitebekim evet. You have to connect the me with kiteb. Kitebekim evet. But if you want to change it to the second person singular, so if you want to ask someone, do you want a book? You would have to change the me. Can you guess what you have to change it for, if you know it? Yes, so you change it to t. Kitebekit evet. Kitebekit evet. I can make it sound like a question. I could say kitebekit evet. Kitebekit evet. See, because I'm from Slemani, especially people from here, we like to drop d and t sound, as I mentioned from the other videos. So I wouldn't really say kitebekit evet. See, I don't like to pronounce this t sound, you know. So instead, I would just say kitebekit evet, kitebekit evet. See how I say it? No t at the end. So when the t though is with the word itself, you wouldn't actually drop it, but if it's a suffix, then yes, you have to drop it. I mean, you don't have to drop it, but you can drop it, let's say. So whenever there's a noun, you put the noun, then the suffix that we use for the pronoun, and then you would say evet. Then let's look at here so you don't get confused about okay, what other suffix should I use? So if I use it for I would put me, ktebekim, right? If I use it for you, I would say ktebekit, so t. If I use it for he or she, I would say ktebeki, so ktebeki evet. She wants a book, so I change it to ye. If I want to say we, I would say man, so ktebek man evet, ktebek man evet. If I want to say you plural, I would say ten, so ktebek ten evet, ktebek ten evet. If I want to change it to they, I would have to connect it with yan, so I would say ktebekyan evet, ktebekyan evet. All right, so me, t, yi, man, tan, yan. These are the endings that we would use. Let's move into see how we should use it with a verb. So to use it with a verb, we would firstly either say emeret, eteret, evet, amanere, atanere, ayanere. So notice what happened here. We put the suffix after the a. By the way, I'm telling you exactly, not the standard way, but exactly how we speak in Slemani, so my way of speaking. But in some of the places you might hear people saying detere or demere. Demere, detere, dere, demanere, detanere, deanere. But instead of d, as I mentioned earlier, we don't like to pronounce d sound a lot, so I drop the d and I just say emere instead of saying demere. All right, now that's the first thing you would start your sentence with. I want, and then you would mention what you want to do. You'd mention the action. But here's one thing, when you're trying to mention the action, like what you're going to do, for example, you want to try to say I want to go to somewhere, I want to go to the shop, right? So normally to say I go, we would say aram, aram. But when we have when we say I want to do something, I want to go somewhere, we always change the beginning of the verb to bi. So instead of saying aram, we would say brom, emere brom. See, I don't say emere aram, that's wrong. I'd say emere brom, emere brom bodukan, emere brom bodukan. So there was someone that, if I remember correctly, that mentioned Dukan is not Kurdish, and I should be teaching the Kurdish word, which I usually mention the Kurdish words as well, but I like to mention the words that we actually use in daily life. So everybody in daily conversation, here we always say Dukan, and that's exactly what I'm teaching. So I teach exactly how we speak in Slemani and how I normally speak to people, or how I hear other people around me speak Kurdish. But we can also say froshka. I would just say this is not something you would actually hear anybody here saying it, unless maybe it's something like way too formal, but usually it's still gonna be a written language, so not spoken. Other than that, we don't use froshka. But anyway, so we'll still go with dukan because that's the one that we commonly use for shop or store. So to say I want to go to the shop, you would say emre brom bo dukan. Emre brom bo dukan. I want to go to the shop, or I want to go to the store. If you want to say I want to eat something, you should say emre something bikhom. First the noun, the name of the food, and then the verb, and then the action. So I want, then the noun, and then the verb, the action. Emre kuba bkhom. Emre kuba bkhom. I want to eat kuba. Now, if we want to change it to do you want to eat something, or do you want to go somewhere, I'd have to say etawe, see, etawe, and then something, bkhoit. So etawe kuba bkhoit. First we said emre kuba bkhom. So me in the beginning, emre, right? And then the other me with bkhom. I have to change it both to etawe, so I change it to t. Kuba bkhoit, eat. You see how I changed the me to eat? Or I can say etawe nan bkhoit. Etawe nan bkhoit. Do you want to eat? Etawe nan bkhoit. If you want to ask someone, do you want to go to, let's now change it to something else. Let's say, do you want to go to Slemani? Etawe broi bo Slemani. Etawe broit bo Slemani. See how I put both of the t or yeet sound with the verbs. I have to do for both verbs. Etawe broit. So now instead of saying brom, I say broit. Etawe broit bo Slemani. Do you want to go to Slemani? Now you can say bale emre brom bo Slemani. Yes, I want to go to Slemani. If you want to say I want to buy something, you can say emre something bikram. So let's say I want to buy clothes. I can say emre jil bikram. Emre jil bikram. I want to buy clothes. Maybe you want to say I want to buy Kurdish clothes, the Kurdish traditional clothes. You can say emre jili kurdi bikram. Emre jili kurdi bikram. So jili kurdi means Kurdish clothes. Emre jili kurdi bikram. I want to buy Kurdish clothes. Or you might want to ask the other person. Now you try this one, you try to change it to a question. So instead of saying I want to buy Kurdish clothes, I want you to ask someone, do you want to buy Kurdish clothes? You can pause the video so you can make the sentence. How would you say this? Okay, so we would say etawe jili kurdi bikri. Etawe jili kurdi bikri. Do you want to buy Kurdish clothes? Etawe jili kurdi bikri. So to negate this verb, if you want to negate a verb in present tense, not past, we're just talking about present here, you can add na in the beginning of the verb. So you want to say I don't want to eat, you can say namewe nan bkhom. Namewe nan bkhom. So instead of emewe, all you do is you change the a in the beginning to na, namewe. Same thing if we change it to you, we'd have to say natewe, natewe nan bkhoi, natewe nan bkhoi. Don't you want to eat? So remember, if you're negating a verb, just change the a in the beginning to na, if the verb is present, of course. Because for past we have something slightly different. So now we're just talking about present. Give me this example. How would you say, do you not want to go to Kurdistan? Okay. ناتوي بروي بو كردستان. ناتوي بروي بو كردستان. Do you not want to go to Kurdistan? ناتوي بروي بو كردستان. Let's say, do you not want to eat Kurdish food? To say Kurdish food, you have to say خواردنی کردی. خواردن means food. خواردنی کردی. Yes, so you would say ناتوي خواردنی کردی بخوی. ناتوي خواردنی کردی بخوی. Do you not want to eat Kurdish food? Or do you not want to have Kurdish food? Now, to answer it, نخیر نامره خواردنی کردی بخوام. No, I don't want to eat Kurdish food. نخیر نامره خواردنی کردی بخوام. Alright, so that's it for this video. I want to keep it as something for beginners, so I'm not gonna give more verbs here, but I hope you enjoyed this video and got benefit from this video and got an idea about how saying I want or to want in general works. And yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video and see you next time. Khwatan lagal.